What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Now, we have quite a few things to get into today that do include the UK sales charts, as they show us kind of an early look at where Octopath Traveler could be placing, possibly in other regions as well, and it did actually pretty well in the UK, which we're going to go over here. We also did see what Nathan Fillion was teasing on his Instagram. Remember, I always saw a post that was pointing to something Uncharted? Well, we saw what it was today, and it's pretty awesome. We're going to get into that. And then there's also a new PlayStation model that we're going to talk about a bit as well and kind of see what that could be. Now, before we get into some of the bigger stuff, let's start with some of the smaller news. Do you remember how last week or so we talked about a new PT remake that was taking place from a person that was remaking it in Unreal Engine 4, those Quimzar? Remember how we talked about that? Well, it looks like they received a takedown from Konami. Konami actually called them and said, hey, you need to take this down. There's a lot of legal stuff going around, and it makes sense. Obviously, it is technically Konami's assets. They were actually pulling assets, data mine them from PT, and they were using them to rebuild it. So yeah, that makes sense. It's not all bad, technically, because they were not only offered merchandise, I guess, as a short-term thing, but they were offered an internship at Konami. Not Konami Japan, from what I could tell, Konami Europe or Konami US, where those are not as bad, from what I could tell, in terms of working conditions as the Japanese branch that is the one that was famously did all kinds of terrible stuff, as we've allegedly heard, for things like Kojima and his peers and everything over there. No, this is more of the European branch or the United States branch. And it sounds like, yeah, you get your foot in the door, and that's cool to hear. It's a shame they took it down, because there are a lot of people who wanted to probably see that kind of through to the end. But I told you guys before, download it when you can. So hopefully you did get a chance to download it so you can check it out and play around with it. So Nathan Fillion was teasing all that stuff, and it turns out that they decided they were going to build a very mini, almost like basically a short, like a very small section of an Uncharted fan movie. This was pretty cool. Now, this was one of those things they just kind of did, maybe to give us a look at what Uncharted could be as a movie, and man, they did an awesome job. If you have not seen this yet, go watch it. Seriously, it's about 15 minutes or so. I've actually watched it twice now, and it was really cool. There were some really cool callbacks to the game itself. There was this one scene where he jumps out of the window, he hits the ground, he gets up, and the camera kind of pans around to how it kind of would look in the game, where there's this cool scene where he's running through with a gun and shooting against people and everything. It was just a really well done short. We'll see what happens from here. Hopefully Sony doesn't make them take it down or anything, but just in case, go watch it while you can. It's definitely worth your 15 minutes. Also, if you're a fan of the Virtual Boy, for whatever reason, or you want to check it out in its more, I guess, native form, where it was kind of like the 3D look that gave people headaches and, red wireframes and everything. Well, you can kind of do that now, as long as you have a VR headset like an Oculus Rift. In fact, it seems like they're specifically naming the Oculus Rift as the preferred device to play this on. It's an emulator that's set up to take advantage of those different images in each eye, to kind of give it that look as to how the Virtual Boy was back in the day, just maybe less when it comes to headache inducement. I don't know. Someone will have to tell me who has an Oculus Rift and they check this out to see if that is still a thing with these red wireframes, but in the newer technology. Now, this emulator, called the VB Gin emulator, and it was developed by Jay Mattis, a founder of an indie game developer, High Horse Entertainment, and it's pretty cool. I would check this out. Now, they actually made the PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC game Disc Jam, and it was just a project that they started back in 2012 just for fun, and here we are now where you can emulate it and see it how it was supposed to be, just maybe not as bad on the Oculus Rift. Might be worth checking out. It's a free emulator. I guess it's up to you to get the ROMs yourself, whether through legal means or you're just going to download them without having them. It's fine, I guess. It's up to you. But check it out, I guess, if you have an Oculus Rift and you're curious as to how the Virtual Boy looked way back in the day when everyone was complaining about it. All right, guys, with that stuff out of the way, let's get into some of the bigger stuff, starting with the UK sales charts. This is our first look at how Octopath Traveler did, and honestly, it did pretty well. Now, it didn't top the sales charts. That still belongs to Crash Bandicoot. However, there's a very interesting statistic that we're going to talk about here, because the games above it technically are not full-priced games. You're going to see the charts here. Crash Bandicoot was number one. That is, of course, helping from the Xbox and the Switch version being still very new, and Europe loves, and seriously, we're talking about all of Europe, but the UK especially loves Crash Bandicoot. It's always sold well there. When it came out on the PS4, it was massive there. The Lego The Incredibles number 2, Octopath Traveler 3, Captain Toad, which also debuted. It was just kind of run over by Octopath in a lot of places where everyone's talking about Octopath, obviously. God of War number 5, FIFA 18 number 6, Jurassic World Evolution 7, Mario Tennis Aces, Far Cry 5, and then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's actually a pretty large Nintendo presence here in the top 10 in the UK sales charts, which is fairly interesting because that's not usually the case. But Octopath Traveler is third on this list, right? We're seeing that, but according to GameIndustry.biz, if you go by revenue, because Octopath Traveler is a $60 game, whereas the other two above it are not, Octopath Traveler is actually number 1 for revenue. So that's how close it actually was there. And I'm going to be curious going forward to see how it does in terms of its longevity, because a lot of times, JRPGs especially, they kind of fall off pretty quick. They do, because a lot of times you get your initial sales from fans of that genre, and then it doesn't technically transfer to the mainstream. That's why when Persona 5 cracked 2 million units, it was such a big deal, because that was a big breakthrough for a series that is not generally seen as a mainstream game. But there it is, you know, with mainstream hype and everything. It was nominated for a bunch of Game of the Years, and it was awesome to see that for a series that's been really clawing at that mainstream appeal for so long. And Octopath Traveler is doing well also here. It's sold twice as much as Bravely Default in its debut week. And keep in mind, these are 2 days that are tracked here, Friday and Saturday for Octopath Traveler. So this is its first reported, I guess, rankings or sales, and so far so good. I'm happy to see this because it might sound a bit dramatic, but it really restores some faith in the gaming world right now that is so enamored with live services, right? And even God of War, while that was a single-player game, had the benefit of insanely good visuals that helped it, whereas Octopath Traveler, I think, is an awesome-looking game, but it's not like a 3D powerhouse. In fact, one of its biggest criticisms from a lot of people that don't think it's worth the money is that it's a 2D game. But looking at it, it has a ton of creativity. I love the artistic style for it, and honestly, it's a great game that's worth the money. So far, it's doing well. Media Crates is going to be very, very interesting, as most people now are expecting a 100,000 plus unit sales number that's going to come out from 2 days of sales. So we'll see. We'll be going over all of that on Thursday because the numbers will be posted sometime on Wednesday. Next up, let's talk about a new PS4 model that I've seen a lot of people online start to talk about a bit, because Sony in Japan updated their website that reflects a new model for the PS4. You're going to see kind of a visual here of it, and the new model number is CUH-2200, and they updated it now from the 2100 model number from before. And these revisions are not things that you usually see on the outside. This appears to be attached to a 1TB jet black version, a 500GB jet black version, and then a 1TB glacier white version, and a 500GB glacier white version. But here's the thing about these revisions, and you're going to see some people talk about them. I saw some people get really excited thinking they made some big change or something, inputs maybe on the back, or USB ports, an extra one or something. That's not happening. What you're seeing here with such a small change in terms of model number on the back, where you have like your serial and then you have your model number, to change that slight, it's probably something internal that most people aren't going to see, and more than likely it just signifies a change in internal components that save Sony money. It's not like some big massive event or anything. I know a lot of people are talking about it because it sounds cool and everything. What you're seeing here is a very slight change, and it's not really something to get massively excited for. You're going to see these probably start to trickle out to retailers over the next few months. Definitely by holiday, but I'm hoping that by holiday, if they're doing revisions in the works or anything, they do a PlayStation 4 Pro Slim. I think we need one. Mine sounds like it's trying to take off into the atmosphere every time I turn it off. So that fan gets so loud when I'm playing it for a while. I would like to see a slim PS4 Pro, kind of in the same vein as the PS4 Pro, where it's quieter, it runs cooler and everything. I mean, seriously, the Xbox One X does it so much better with its cooling, and I know that has to do with some of the pricing with the vapor chamber and everything, but I would like to see them do something with that PS4 Pro, make it smaller, make it run better, and that's kind of where and that's what I'm hoping for this holiday, is they do a revision like that. But for now, Small revision, nothing to get too crazy about, but you're going to see it getting passed around the internet at least over the next few days. Next up, let's talk about Batman: The Enemy Within, and it looks like it is heading to Nintendo Switch. Not really surprising anyone. It was rated now, of course, mature rating and everything, and this was in the Germany's USK, so no official word from Warner Bros. Yet, but generally when you pay to get it rated, it is coming. And of course, we have Batman the Telltale series, that is same kind of idea, of course, where it's kind of a choose your own adventure style game. That's there, right? You can buy it now and everything, and it only makes sense for them to push The Enemy Within. The rating that's out now tells us it's probably going to be out in the next couple, maybe like 1 or 2 months from now, so it'll definitely be around for the holiday season. And if you're a fan of the Telltale series, of the first one that came out, you'll probably like The Enemy Within. I mean, it's been on other systems and everything as well. I actually checked it out at one point on the PS4, but every time I buy a Telltale game, I realize I don't really like Telltale games that much. I don't know if it's just because it's very much like a movie, and usually when I play a game, I'm just trying to play a game, but I do know people love these series, so if you're looking forward to it, hoping The Enemy Within was coming over to the Switch, you're going to be happy to know that it is coming, and it's probably going to show up in the next few months, so just keep an eye out for that. When we get a rating, as we've seen before with other ones, it has a mature rating, it's going to show up, I would say. I wouldn't be shocked if we hear from Warner Bros. In the next week or two. And our last bit of news, let's talk a bit about the Mega Man X Legacy Collection, I guess 1 and 2, that's coming out next week. Yeah, next week. Wow, that's really, really coming up right now. And I'm excited. I've told you guys, I'm a big Mega Man X fan. And what have I always told you guys? I would love to see a Mega Man X9. And honestly, I'm starting to get a bit hyped because I think the possibility now, especially with Mega Man 11, is there. I think Capcom might be working on the next X game kind of behind the scenes right now, and I think there's a lot of people who believe that as well. And there's a few new things now that could be pointing to a tease showing up with this X collection. We're going to get into that. First, though, I do also want to say we had a look at what appears to be an easy mode that is also going to be in there. Now, we've seen easy modes in previous Mega Man games very recently. I know Mega Man 9 and 10 had basically an easier mode kind of put in there that you could choose. It looks like there are screenshots that appear to show a Rookie Hunter mode, and this was done from SiliconEra.com, where they seem to have spotted this along with 4Gamer, and it shows that there will be, I guess, an easier mode for people because, yes, the Mega Man X series, it's not the easiest series at times. I think the first one is pretty easy, but when you start working with the ladder, especially again X2 and X3, it does become a bit harder, and gamers now might go back to it and realize that when they're playing it, might get frustrated. This Rookie Hunter mode is just going to let really gamers of all skills be able to enjoy the X series, which is something I would prefer because I want people to get very familiar with this series so that if there is an X9, that it sells well. Now, why are people thinking that there could be an X9? What are we seeing here? Well, we had the trophies list or achievements list, data mined, and it comes out and everything. And what do you know? It looks like they're pointing at things like secret images that you're seeing an achievement here, for example. One trophy called Another Day, Another Recon says view 20 images across all 4 titles, then change the wallpaper to the secret image. The next one, you'll see at the bottom, says defrag complete. It says blast through the mystery of the staff credits and return to the future. So there's a lot of speculation. The last time we had kind of a secret or hidden image was that, remember that one Mega Man change, or that outfit, kind of the power that we saw that we couldn't figure out what it was for? Turns out it was a Mega Man 11 power that they had set up. So now people are wondering, is this secret image possibly a Mega Man X9 tease, as it's in the Mega Man X collection? Could Returning to the Future be something along the lines of a next Mega Man X game? There's a lot of questions to ask here, and it looks like if they were going to do some kind of tease, the X Legacy collection is where you would tease it, right? So we have to wait till next week, or until reviewers get it and maybe find something and maybe they break embargo or something, I don't know, but yeah, it looks like there could be something hidden in this game, and even if there wasn't, people are going to tear this game apart looking for any signs of a new Mega Man X game, as I think there are a lot of people who really want a new Mega Man X game, like myself, who would buy the big special edition and everything because we love Mega Man X. So let me know what you guys think about this and if you would like to see another Mega Man X game. But until now, we gotta wait till next week. And that's where we're gonna end Newswave, guys. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button, dislike it if not, and leave your comments down below about all the stuff we talked about today, whether it is that Mega Man X Legacy Collection, could there be something hidden in there, Octopath Traveler's resounding success so far. We're gonna see these Media Create sales on Thursday. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. for Newswave.